Everybody, I'm the guru and class is in session for today. I got a request from a warrior who shall remain nameless because I'm not going to name names unless a certain person wants me to. So, excuse me, I got a request about prednisone. So today, let's talk about the effects of prednisone, which I affectionately call the devil. I do not like prednisone. Okay. Now, prednisone is an anti-inflammatory. Okay. It's also a steroid. And what it does is it helps a lot of us lupus patients reduce the swelling in our bodies. Okay. The biggest problem with prednisone is it affects you in very awful ways. Number one, it is very addictive. Okay? It's physically addictive, which means that your body, after taking so much of it, when you want to come off of it, you have to be weaned off of it as if you were on a narcotic pain medication. And if you ask me, this is from personal experience, it is worse than coming off of narcotics. Okay? Now, prednisone also causes extreme depression. Okay? Extreme depression, mood swings, depression. It causes your face to swell up. In fact, it makes you want to eat everything in your refrigerator at once, which is not good at all. Prednisone is a medication that should be given only for a short period of time, unless the doctor feels otherwise. If the doctor feels otherwise, I would question the reason why he cannot or she cannot find another medication to help you. Okay? Prednisone is a very dangerous drug if taken over a long period of time, because with most lupus patients, we also have arthritis. Okay? So, prednisone thins out your bones and eventually will cause osteoporosis or osteopenia. Osteoporosis is making your bones porous or have holes in them, for instance. Okay? Now, these holes will in turn make your bones very weak, and your bones will start to chip and flake. Once they chip and flake, they will go into your bloodstream and they can cause a very bad infection. How do I know this? Because a friend of mine who had a kidney transplant was on prednisone, I would say a little bit over 10 years. He called me up, he said, "Guru, my foot is red and swollen." And he said, "I don't know why. I just was walking one day, I heard something crack, and then the next thing I know, my foot is red, swollen, and itching." So I said, I asked him, I said, "Well, what kind of medication are you on? Do you have arthritis?" He said, "No." He had a kidney transplant. I said, "You're on prednisone then?" He said, "Yes." He says he has to be on it for life. I said, "If I were you, I would definitely go get that checked out immediately." I said, because if you've been on prednisone for that long, you could have some issues where bone might have flaked off into your system. And yes, that was the issue. He actually fractured his foot and did not know. And what ended up happening was a piece of his bone got into his blood system. and begun to cause an infection. It began traveling up his body, and it got very close to his heart where he nearly died. Prednisone is the devil. It should only be taken on a short-term basis. My horror story with prednisone, not good at all. I was on prednisone for a month. I've had lupus for 39 years. I started out with junior rheumatoid arthritis, okay? They found the lupus, but they did not believe that a child that young could have lupus. And being that nobody in my family had lupus, or so they thought, because at that time my mother wasn't diagnosed with it just yet. They didn't think that it was lupus. They thought it was something else. At the age of, I believe I was 40 when this happened. I had already taken it, come on it, been on it, been off it, been on it, been off it, been on it, been off it for like many years. But I've always made sure that once I started getting really mean and disgusting, I would come off of the prednisone. I begged them. It got to the point where I was 180 pounds. Now, mind you, guys, I'm 5'2". And 180 pounds and arthritis and lupus, that does not mix. That just makes things worse. And I explained that to the doctor. I said, actually, this is making me feel worse. And then one night, I had a complete and utter nervous breakdown. I did not sleep at all. I had no rest. For 3 days, I was awake. It was the prednisone that was keeping me awake, by the way. So some of you ask why you can't sleep. If you're on prednisone, that's the reason why you cannot sleep. It's the prednisone. It is a stimulant. So if you are on prednisone, my advice to you is to take it in the morning, okay? Do not take it with a cup of coffee, unless you want your heart to beat out of your chest, okay? There are some very big dangers in prednisone. Do not go out in the sun without proper protection. Sunscreen, hat, long sleeves. Even during the winter time, it's very dangerous. I constantly beg people, if you're on prednisone and you don't feel like you really need to be on it, come off of it. If you find yourself very depressed, come off of it. Do not allow doctors to give you an antidepressant. You are not depressed. You are dealing with the side effect of a medication. This is one of the bad things about lupus, is we get medications and we have these side effects. And then the doctor tries to treat the side effects by giving us something else, which will have another side effect, and on and on and on and on and on, until we open up our medicine drawer and we find like 23 bottles of pills, all treating one symptom, a side effect. That's madness. If you ask me, it's complete and utter madness. Okay? Now, understand one thing about antidepressants. Okay? If you are not depressed, do not take antidepressants. Because your body, your brain makes a special component, special hormone. We'll call it the happy hormone, okay? And it makes you feel happy when you're happy. It makes you feel sad when you're sad. It's a hormone. What an antidepressant does is it revs up these hormones and makes them produce more so that you can be happy, okay? You should not ever come off of an antidepressant by yourself. Again, another drug that is worse than the devil itself. It's an antidepressant. Coming off an antidepressant is like coming off of heroin. This is the only thing I could think of, because I watched that movie Train Spotting, and I watched what that guy went through, coming off of the heroin. I've been on narcotic pain medication for 17 years, and I'm basically trying to wean myself off of this stuff because I'm tired of being labeled as a junkie, which is terrible. Like, why should I have to put myself through pain because I'm allergic to everything? I'm allergic to all NSAIDs. I'm allergic to aspirin, Tylenol, Advil, morphine, ibuprofen. I would like to be able to take a Tylenol, but lupus finds that in my system and just freaking destroys it. And then I break out in hives, my throat closes, and I end up with an EpiPen in my thigh. So, okay, getting back to the antidepressants. You have to excuse me, I tend to do that from time to time. Okay, getting back to the antidepressants. It revs up so much serotonin in your brain that, everything begins to look bright and you begin to feel happy again. But if you go outside in the sun on an antidepressant, you can cause yourself to become depressed. Like, the sun works against the medication, so you can become very depressed. If you are on most medications, you should not be out in the sun without some kind of protection. Okay? Even you diabetics, people with high blood pressure, same thing. Stay away from the sun. This is one of the reasons why doctors constantly pump us filled with vitamin D and calcium to keep us from being depressed. Maybe one of the reasons why you're depressed is because you're low on vitamin D. So why don't you try that before allowing a doctor to give you antidepressants? There was one doctor who tried to give me antidepressants, and he mixed them with my narcotic pain medicine, and I began to hallucinate. Being a psychologist myself, I said, wait a minute, this is not right. I called the doctor, and I was in the hospital at this time. I called the doctor and I said, I'm seeing and hearing things that I should not be seeing and hearing. I said, this is wrong. I said, you're not supposed to mix antidepressants. I know you're giving me antidepressants because you think that my pain is psychological. I hate that. How can pain be psychological? It's not. It's either pain or it's not pain. There's no gray line. It's pain. Lupus people suffer with intractable pain. Get it into your brains. There needs to be some more research done, and they're not doing the research. They're just declaring war on opioid patients and saying, listen, if I go into the doctor and say, or into the hospital and say, listen, I'm in so much pain, my pain medication is not working, what they'll do? They say, go see your pain medicine doctor. I'm like, and he's going to do what? And I will have to wait like 3 or 4 weeks before I'm able to see him again? That doesn't work. There are some times where IV pain medication is warranted in situations like that. But it is not the absolute solution. The absolute solution is to knock it out from the very source. And doctors have not been able to figure that out just yet. So listen, let's wrap this up, okay? Because we're almost out of class and it's late, okay? Number 1, if you're on prednisone for a very long time, please try to ask your doctor to wean you off, especially if you find yourself depressed, okay? If you are depressed, there are 2 reasons. It is your medication, number 1, and number 2, it is your medication. Number 3, is when was the last time you've actually been outside? Because vitamin D plays a lot into our moods. So vitamin D is very important, okay? So take your vitamin D. You might not be depressed anymore, okay? For those with all of your negative, oh, woe is me too. Shit, I'm going through a lot myself. But I found ways around not having to take antidepressants. Talk therapy is a way that we don't have to take antidepressants. Talk therapy is important. We need somebody to talk to, not just type on a screen. We actually need somebody to be able to pick up the phone and say, hi, this is Janine. I want to talk. That is what I am working on now, okay? And I'm asking for volunteers to please step forward and help me create a peer-to-peer counseling line, okay? Especially for the ones who've had lupus over 20 years. You have a lot of knowledge, and you need to share it. Of course, you will be, I will be running a seminar as to things to say to people and things not to say to people. You know, we're there to listen, to understand, and to share our love and knowledge with each other. Okay, but that's another story for another time. But if you would like to help me with this, please send me a message on Facebook, Janine Melhado, aka the Guru. Okay, and let's work together in helping each other, because it doesn't seem like these big organizations want to do things like that for us. So let's do it for ourselves, okay? Let's show them that we can support each other just fine. Okay? Please? Consider taking some vitamin D. Don't take antidepressants. Come off of the Prednisone and find something else to bring the swelling down, okay? Let's work on taking some biologicals. Now, you know, they've got a lot of new biologicals that are working very well. You have to do your homework on everything they give you. You cannot be so trusting of a doctor. I mean, listen, there are doctors out there with no clue as to what the hell they're doing, and how the hell some of these doctors got their degrees is beyond me. But that's just the way, that's just the society we live in. We're a money-driven society. So these doctors are being paid by some of the pharmaceutical companies to give you these medications. They do not know half of the side effects. You talk to your pharmacist about these things. Or you've got this neat little thing now. It's called the internet. You can actually look up side effects on your cell phone or on your home computer or iPad or whatever you have. You have to take responsibility for your health. It is very important, because I'm not going to do another suicide video. I won't. I refuse. They make me too sad, and they make me hurt. And it makes me feel like I'm not doing my job. So guys, buck up. Let's help each other. This is your Guru, sending love and healing light to you. Oh, and by the way, did you try out the guided meditation videos? They're wonderful, aren't they? Well, let's put our L's, and our W's, and bring it to the screen. I'm giving you some love. Let's complete it. There you go. God loves you, or whomever you believe in loves you. I love you. But most of all, and most importantly, love yourself. Because in the end, all you have is you. This is the Guru signing out. God bless. Good night.